Hi, my name's David. I'm the literacy educator at the Eric Carle Museum of Picture Book Art. Thank you so much for joining our Storytime with the Carle, our weekly read-aloud series. This week, we'll be reading one of my absolute favorite books, The Wall in the Middle of the Book by Jon Agee. Big thanks to Penguin Random House for giving us permission to share this book. One of the things that I love about this book is how much of the story is told in the pictures. In fact, we might even see some things that the characters in the book don't. So, let's put on our Storytime goggles and use our eyes to look carefully at the pictures and help to tell the story. We can start with our cover. What do we see happening on the cover? Yeah, we see a giant or an ogre reaching over this big, tall wall. And down below, we see a duck walking behind a knight. And the knight is carrying a sign that says, "The wall in the middle of the book." And on our end papers in the front, there's that wall in the middle of the book. Another name for this part of the book that divides one side of the book from the other is the gutter. And in the gutter of our book, we see this big tall wall, and on one side of the wall, there's a brick on the ground. I wonder where that brick came from. If we look closely, we can see there's also a little space missing from the wall. Now what do we see? On the other side of the book, there's a rhino. The Wall in the Middle of the Book by Jon Agee. And now what do we see happening? Now on the other side, there's a rhino and a tiger. And on this side, along comes the knight that we saw on the cover of the book carrying a ladder. I wonder what they're going to do with that ladder. There is a wall in the middle of the book. And it's a good thing. Well, now we see the knight has leaned the ladder up against the wall, and on the other side of the book there's a rhino, and the tiger is on the back of the rhino, and there's a gorilla there too. And now look, both the gorilla and the tiger are sitting on the back of the rhino, and there's a little mouse down there below too. And on the knight side, the knight is picking up that brick, and it looks like there's a duck coming along. The wall protects this side of the book from the other side of the book. If you were in this book, which side would you want to be on? On this side, we see the gorilla is standing on top of the tiger is standing on top of the rhino, and the rhino is looking down at the little mouse. And on this side, the duck is flying along, and it looks like there's a little bit of water on the ground. Oh, what's happening? All the animals on the other side of the book are falling down. Why do you think that happened? Yeah, maybe The rhino saw the tiny mouse and was surprised. And the knight is saying this side of the book is safe. The other side is not. Do you agree with the knight? Why isn't this side of the book safe? Maybe because there are lots of big animals on this side? And on that other side, look, all the animals are running away from the wall. Ooh, but the most dangerous thing on the other side of the book is the ogre. There's the ogre carrying a big club. And what's happening on the night side? Oh, the water has gotten a little bit higher, and now we can see there's a sea creature swimming along. Maybe it's a crocodile. If the ogre ever caught me, he'd eat me up. The ogre is looking down at the mouse on the ogre's side, and on this side, the knight is putting the brick back in the wall, and it looks like that sea creature is opening its mouth, and maybe it's going to try to eat the duck. Whoa. That's why I'm glad there's a wall in the middle of the book, says the knight, and that I'm on this side of it. Now, which side of the book would you want to be on? Would you want to be on the ogre's side or the knight's side? I don't see the duck anymore. I wonder what happened to the duck. Maybe, I don't know. Wait a second, says the knight. What's going on? What has the knight noticed? Yeah, the knight has noticed that the water is getting really high. And on the other side, the ogre is putting their head against the wall. Maybe they're trying to push it. Maybe the ogre is trying to listen to what's happening on the other side. This is not supposed to happen on this side of the wall. What's happening? Yeah, the knight has fallen off of the ladder and into the water. And there is a school of little fish swimming up to them. And on the other side, what's the ogre doing? Yeah, the ogre is using their club to climb up the wall. Now what's happening? There's a hand reaching over the wall and grabbing the foot of the knight. Whose hand is that? Maybe it's the ogre's hand? It is the ogre's hand. Look, the ogre has picked up the knight and brought it over to its side of the wall where it's nice and dry. And the knight is saying, "Wow, thank you so much." I'm on the other side of the book. And on the other side, we can see there's a bigger fish swimming along. And you're the ogre who's going to eat me up, says the knight. The ogre is looking out at us. The ogre looks a little bit confused. Do you think the ogre is going to eat up the knight? I don't know. Oh, and what's happening on the other side? Over here. The bigger fish is opening up its mouth. Like maybe it's going to eat the little fish. Now the ogre's laughing. Ha ha ha! I'm actually a nice ogre. And this side of the book is fantastic. And what's happening back on the other side now? There's a giant green sea creature swimming behind the medium-sized fish, and the medium-sized fish is opening up its mouth. What's going to happen next? Oh. I don't see those little fish anymore. Maybe the medium-sized fish ate them up, and the giant green fish is opening up their mouth. And the ogre's saying, "Come on, I'll show you around." The knight is thinking. The knight is not sure what to do. Meanwhile, on the other side, what's happening? No more little fish, and it looks like the big giant green fish is opening up its mouth. Maybe it's going to eat the medium-sized fish. Oh, no more medium-sized fish. The green fish is smiling like maybe it got a yummy meal. And the knight is saying, "Hey, ogre, wait for me!" Now what are they doing? It looks like the knight caught up with all the animals and the ogre, and they're running and playing and having a really good time. There's the knight riding on the back of the rhino. Oh man, the gorilla is swinging from the trees. Up, and look, there's Duck. Duck is flying along. On our back end papers, there, who do we see? The little mouse from before is running ahead of everyone. I love this book so much. One of the things I really love about this book is how it invites us to question our own initial impressions or ideas about people, right? Like in this book, like the knight, some of us may have assumed that the ogre and the animals were mean and scary, right? But actually, they wound up being really nice, right? Sometimes the things and the people that we might fear can actually be really great, and they can even help us, right? You might have also noticed the knight's really cool armor, right? And if you're interested in creating armor or another kind of costume, you can check out the latest Art Studio blog post, which invites you to share your kindness and your confidence by creating wearable art. If you'd like to share your creations with us, we'd love to see them. As always, feel free to share by tagging @Carle Museum on social media. On behalf of everyone at the Carle, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your stories. We hope that you'll join us for our next story time. In the meantime, be well and be kind. Bye.